I now call to order the meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission for the City of Apache Junction. Today's date is October 22nd, 2024, and the time is 7 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Rudy, can I get a roll call, please?
Sir, Mr. Sherman. Chairman Hanchey.
Here.
Vice Chair Barker.
Here.
Commissioner Gage.
Here.
Commissioner Cantwell.
Here.
Commissioner Bigelow.
Here.
Commissioner Begeman.
Here.
Commissioner Callan.
Here.
All 7 present. We have a quorum, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Rudy. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda and minutes?
I move that the Planning and Zoning Commission accept the agenda as presented and approve the minutes from the October 8th, 2024 regular meeting.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Rudy, can I get a roll call, please?
Commissioner Callan.
Yes.
Chairman Hanchey.
Yes.
Vice Chair Barker.
Yes.
Commissioner Gage.
Yes.
Commissioner Cantwell.
Yes.
Commissioner Bigelow.
Yes.
Commissioner Begeman.
Yes.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. There's a public hearing this evening, presentation, discussion, public hearing and consideration of case P-23-112-PZ, a proposed rezoning of parcel 102-03-136A, located at 99-1 East Old West Highway. Nick, take it away.
Thank you, Chairman Hanchey. Good evening, Planning and Zoning Commission. It's good to see you all tonight. I'm Nick Leftwich, planner for the Development Services Department of the City of Apache Junction. Tonight I'll be presenting the case information for P-23-112-PZ, a proposed rezoning by Storbakken and Sons Construction, Inc., represented by Greg Loper, who is here tonight with his own presentation. We'll be able to also answer questions following my presentation. The subject parcel of this rezoning is 1.6 acres on the south side of Old West Highway, just east of Royal Palm Road and south of Broadway. Storbakken and Sons bought the property without knowing that there would be a zoning conflict, and when they began operating, they were contacted by city staff who informed them of the zoning issue of having an inappropriate land use for the B1 General Commercial Zoning District. At that time, there were several options in order to correct the zoning violation, and of those options, one of them was to rezone the property to an appropriate zoning category, and they have elected to pursue this option. And as such, they request a rezoning from the B1 General Commercial Zoning District to the B5 Industrial Zoning District to allow the use of a construction business comprising a contractor's office, a shop to perform fleet maintenance, indoor and outdoor storage for their trailers and trucks for the construction truck parking. This here is a map of the zoning context of the area. There is commercial to the north of the site across Old West Highway and multifamily residential both to the east and to the west. The east parcel, though currently undeveloped, is in the process of being subdivided into a townhome community. To the south is the Palm Springs single-family residential subdivision. Zooming out a bit, we can see the general plan land use map. The immediate area around the site is, as I just described, with multifamily to the east and west, commercial to the north, single-family residential to the south. But we do see in the purple, the light purple, as we go a little bit further south and to the east, there is industrial land uses along Old West Highway. This is the site plan that the applicant has provided, which shows one building, which is their office and garage, and then the rest of the yard they use to park their trailers and trucks. So although no further development is proposed, this rezoning presents an opportunity to clean up and improve the property, which is why staff have recommended as conditions of approval standard property development requirements that would bring the property into compliance with our current wall and screening standards, since right now the site is mostly bordered by a chain link fence. One of the requirements would be to actually have a proper screen wall. It would bring it into compliance, or we seek to bring it into compliance with things like our dust control standards. So instead of just having a dirt lot to park things on, there's certain dust control surfaces like decomposed granite, or there's different options that they can do just to improve the surfacing of the lot And then there's things like landscaping requirements to bring it up to our modern standards, both for beautification and for screening purposes. And the applicant has agreed that if this zoning is to go through, they would comply with these requirements. So with this, as an industrial rezoning, this property has an enlarged notification radius, which requirement has been met. We've mailed letters out, posted in the newspaper. The applicant has posted the sign. A neighborhood meeting was held on June 25th, 2024 that I attended. However, no other community members attended at this time. And to my knowledge, we have received no other public comment on this matter. So with this, staff recommends the approval of P23-112PZ, subject to the conditions of approval found in the staff report. As I noted, the applicant has a presentation and will be able to answer some of the more operational questions as well. We do have a city council work session in a couple weeks on November 4th, and then there will be the city council public hearing on the matter on Tuesday, November 19th. If there are any questions that you have for me at this time, though, I'm here to answer them.
What's the difference between what this fellow's doing on this property and what Austin was doing on that property?
Are you talking about the Tireman Auto Services?
No,
Or
Austin Construction. was
Austin
in there
Construction?
After Arizona Tireman.
Oh, I see. So I wasn't aware of the name of the occupant in between. Based on what I saw in the aerial imagery looking at the history, I don't know if there altogether was that much of a difference. However, it wasn't really brought to city attention. So it would have had to gone through the same process, and that's probably why the applicant ended up buying it without realizing what was or wasn't approved. But to my understanding, based on the property records that I've gone through now retroactively, looks like they probably were operating something pretty similar, and just it hadn't been brought to city attention during those couple years that they were. So,
Okay.
Fred, I don't have a perfect answer for that, but
Commissioner Gage?
Little question on the process. Could this have been done with a conditional use permit?
in this case, no. There are certain aspects of it that could be done in a B1 general commercial zone with a conditional use permit, but there are other aspects like the heavy truck fleet maintenance, things like that, that are more appropriate in the B4 or B5 zones. So although like a contractor's yard with outdoor storage is a use that can be permitted through a conditional use permit in a B1 zoning district, some of the more heavier aspects of this are more appropriate in B4 and B5, and those are the things that would require rezoning.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just concerned that we've got, basically we're going to zone an industrial parcel that's going to be surrounded by residential. Across the street, it's commercial. I don't know, it just seems like a conditional use permit. If this changes hands in the future, then it could go back to its commercial status, I assume, with a conditional use permit. But if that doesn't work, then that doesn't work. That's all. I'm just curious on the process.
Any other commissioner? No more questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. My name is Greg Loper. My address is 22575 West Mojave Street in Buckeye. And I thank you for hearing our case this evening and for all of you coming out and establishing a quorum for essentially one item really on your agenda. It speaks well for you that everyone comes out, even if it's just one item, and we're very appreciative of it. As Nick stated, the owner of this purchased the property believing they had the correct zoning and entitlement. I believe it was through the pursuit of a business license that was then rejected because they have the correct zoning that it came about. But be that as it may, they want to try to make things right and improve the site. The property is surrounded by residential, as Commissioner Gage mentioned. In fact, the property to the east, I was in front of this commission a couple of years ago doing the rezoning work for that, and it was that developer, Frank Delarmy, for those of you who know him, who actually did the referral when Storbakken, as their neighbor, when they were talking to him about doing their residential development, said, hey, we've got this issue going on, what do we need to do? And so they're very much aware of it and supportive of it. It's been in operation for a couple of years now. I think most of us would be hard pressed to notice that it was there. It's a very small window onto the roadway, let alone that it's an innocuous, or it's a use that would generate any kind of issues with the neighbors. As Nick mentioned, we did the notification, we had a neighborhood meeting, not received any negative input that I'm aware of on it. We do agree with the stipulations the staff's put on the rezoning, the site improvements, the frontage. That building was built in the early 1950s, older than me, and it does need a facade renovation. There also needs to be landscaping, improvements on the driveway. With that, that's kind of an overview. I don't want to rush through anything, but I don't know if you want to sit through a presentation as well. I'm good either way. If you have questions, I'd be more than happy to answer those, or I can go through my presentation.
I'm fine with the way it is.
Well, actually, he answered my one question about the property to the east. I wanted to be sure that they did in fact know about it.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they are in the process of building that neighborhood, and they need to realize that there are trucks. The truck thing is the only thing that worries me, because this has been there forever. It's been used in similar ways forever, so that doesn't concern me as much. But the trucks coming up against residential property. So does this yard have a closing time where the trucks would be parked and done and not run overnight?
Typically, or at least certainly right now, they close up at dusk, which is 5:45, 5:30.
Right.
They don't generally operate, including any kind of interior operations, after dark. Sometimes there are folks there. Summer, they start a little earlier, go a little bit later. That's also when the heavier construction is. One thing I'll mention, that with the residential to the east, that's going to be platted. There's going to be a public report. This use that we're talking about tonight will be disclosed to them. Doesn't mean that people won't call. They do all the time, even if they are aware of something next door. But they will be made aware of it. And I believe that Storbakken, and I just use that globally for the company, they're aware of what's going on around them, and they want to be a good neighbor. One thing when this came about as a zoning violation, we talked at length about trying to make it so you aren't obvious. We're going through this process. The last thing we need is for the city to become aware because trucks are revving up at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. or 10 p.m. or whatever. There hasn't been any of that I'm certainly aware of, and I expect that to continue. It's not a huge operation. I don't expect that it's going to grow at this location. It's not a large location. It has a very narrow throat, if you will, onto Old West Highway. I would love to see them grow, but then take that operation, the non-office operations, off-site. But right now, I think they're content with what they've got going. They're based out of North Dakota, and extensive operations up there. They've just started here for a few years, but they seem to be doing well with what they've got today. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
Commissioner Cantwell?
What type of construction work do they do, and what type of equipment are they working on?
It's primarily a grading operation, so you'll see some dump truck type, bottom tilt up dump truck, bottom dump type vehicles. They don't have excavators or graders on site. At least I've not seen any, and not any expressed to me. It's mainly a trucking that they do grading haul. So it happens off-site, continues off-site, and then they bring the trucks back there.
And then the maintenance is done on site?
It is done on site. They have, today, I believe it was an old converted service station. It looks like that. It's got a couple of bay doors on it. But they also have kind of a shade structure on the side. Needs to be kind of cleaned up, again, with the facade renovations. But they do some of it inside that, but for the taller, bigger vehicles, they do it in the shade structure off to the side. But it's not a cluttered site at all.
And that typically is not a noisy operation.
No.
Anyone else? All right, thank you.
Thank you. I'll be happy to answer any questions if they come up.
All right. Want to say anything before I open it to the public?
They've been in operation, it doesn't sound like there's been any complaints. There was construction before that, there was an auto shop before that, never an issue.
Might as well get them legal.
And I think this came up when we were talking about the townhomes next to it. And part of the problem there was nobody knew what was on that site. They thought it had been abandoned,
True.
if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think you're right.
All right. I now open the public portion of the hearing. Don't really see anybody.
They're coming in droves. There's
Going
just
once,
droves.
going twice. Sold. I now close the public portion. Any further discussion, or can we get a motion?
Do we need to go through the finding of facts? A while,
Do we
or-
need finding of facts? I
No,
believe so.
good. Yay. Yeah, I'll do the motion if you'd like one. Okay, I move that the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend to the Apache Junction City Council the approval of case number P 23-112PZ, a rezoning request by SM Holdings LLC, Storbakken and Sons Construction Incorporated, owner-operator, represented by Greg Loper, applicant, for a rezoning of approximately 1.6 acres at 991 East Old West Highway, APN 102-03-136A, from general commercial, B1, to industrial, B5, to approve the use of a construction business comprising a contractor's office, shop, and indoor-outdoor storage with construction truck parking, subject to the conditions listed in this memo.
Second?
Motion and a second. Can I get a roll call, Rudy?
Commissioner Callen,
Yes.
Chairman Hanchey,
Yes.
Vice Chair Barker,
Yes.
Commissioner Gage,
Yes.
Commissioner Cantwell,
Yes.
Commissioner Bigelow,
Yes.
Commissioner Begeman.
Yes.
So moved, Mr. Chairman. This case will move forward to the City Council with your recommendation of approval.
Thank you, Rudy.
Thank you very much.
There's no old business, no new business this evening.
No, sir?
Director's report, Rudy? Anything?
Yes.
Hey,
I
hey.
would like to take this opportunity to thank Commissioners Begeman and Commissioners Cantwell for their service on the commission. Next month, we will have 2 new commissioners joining our group. And thank you for serving the city. Thanks for your interest in the city and for being a part of the solution and helping to make decisions that are of utmost importance to the city. And to celebrate you, we brought a cake. So please, everybody stick around afterward for a slice of cake. That is my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Rudy. Do we have a motion to select the next meeting date?
Oh, goody.
I move that the Planning and Zoning Commission hold a regular meeting on November 12th, 2024 at 7 p.m. in the City Council chambers located at 300 East Superstition Boulevard.
Second?
Second? Oh, you did.
Yeah, he seconded.
We're asking for one.
I got a motion and a second, Rudy. Can I get a roll call?
Commissioner Begeman,
Yes.
Commissioner Callen,
Yes.
Chairman Hanchey,
Yes.
Vice Chair Barker,
Yes.
Commissioner Gage,
Yes.
Commissioner Cantwell,
Yes.
Commissioner Bigelow.
Yes.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Rudy. I now adjourn the meeting at 7:20 PM.
Whoa, that was short.